calendar to make sure I keep up with that. Hope all are doing well this Sunday morning and that you have lots of coffee because some mornings you need it more than others. That wonderful hot black elixir that makes everything better. So, anyway, how are you? I'm glad to hear that. I really am. Well, you think I ever had enough of a pause there to say, or to catch all that you heard? I have skills, ladies and gentlemen, that go beyond even my own comprehension. It's true. Anyway, how are you? Yeah, it was rolling out of bed this morning was like, hey, get at it, Jim, because this lesson and all of the podcasts that I hope to imbibe into all of you is consistency regardless, right? Barring the inability to actually interact inside of this three-dimensional 5 sense world, get up and do it, man. So here we are. And what would we talk about today? Well, it's going to be another beautiful day. Take a look. If you go to 72601life.com, let's get that second screen up. Take a quick look at the forecast. Let me fix this real quick. But I don't want to give you something funky, right? Let me get that fixed up a little bit better. So let's fix this up. It was just the framing was a little funky for some reason this morning. So we're going to fix that. It's just like this. I feel like Bob Ross. Happy little pixels. Oh, the happy little pixels. There they are. So well, let's take a look. What we got here? We got some weather. Of course, you know, I like talking to a fellow like my buddy Brandon over at Storm Track 360 because he does the weather thing so much more in depth and important and better than I do. But just for a quick wake-up call, here you go. Mostly sunny. Look at that. 71 for a high, overnight low of 44. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Looks like tomorrow, Brandon will be getting busy with Storm Track 360 as we've got a 50 to 60% chance of an evening thunderstorm. Well, there's that. But on the whole, day is going to be beautiful, so enjoy that one because, you know, Monday is when the news cycle returns to everything that news cycles do. And so I'm sure it'll all be doom and gloom and the end of the world once again. But I wouldn't wager on them being right too much. Anyway, so last night, what were we doing that kept Jim out so late? Not much, but we weren't out late. But I had the opportunity to play around with blood sugar levels. I got myself a little, you know, isn't it funny? You know, younger days, rock and roll all night, party every day. Life was, you know, an adventure, an immortal adventure. And nowadays, a little extra barbecue sauce knocked me on my posterior. That is just sucks. It is what it is, and the lesson for all you young folks out there, take care of yourself while you're young because you don't know what that's going to reflect like down the road. Yeah, short-term wins aren't necessarily great for long-term gains. And that's a lesson from me to you. But it was interesting because the big thing that I saw last night was that in Harrison, there was no one out there. Nope. It was deader than a doornail. And it's funny because there was like, with the exception of Mid-States Wrestling, which they can only hold so many out at the fairgrounds, I am blown away with where was everybody? I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I was befuddled. And nobody else knew where they were either. It was like there was the Rapture and we're, hello, sinners. It's us. We're stuck. Eh, we'll get by. We will get by. One high note, though, last night, I came across a young man on the TikTok. Yes, the TikTok. It's supposed to be so bad. Well, I'll put it to you like this. If this is bad, keep giving me the baddies, baby. Anthony Q. Let me see if he has a website real quick. Oh, darn it. And I'm going to look. Just going to do this real quick while we search. Here we go. Anthony coming back over to Q. Let's see if he's got a. This young man, he's got a YouTube. There's his YouTube. Is this his real Facebook page? Anyway, this young man has hands down become my most favorite. Yep, there he is. I'm gonna follow him. There's almost 2 million other people who are doing the same. Let me get over here. But I'm telling you, this young man has become my absolute favorite R&B singer of the 21st century. And wow, let me put this in here, and you're going to see for yourself. You're here for yourself. Um, and I really, really, really salute this and really pushing, just because I'm telling you, okay, in the modern age, we don't have top 40 radio. We don't have that. We don't have that that culture. We just don't. There, I mean, it's like you listen to like your absolute favorites all day long. You come across something new. Odds are, I don't know about it, and neither does him or her or that guy over there in the back. Right? We don't know, because again, we've lost that point of water cooler talk where there is no top 40. So to have those connections ain't there, right? So whenever you do come across something, you want to share it. Well, I'm sharing this one with Anthony Q. I'll put it to you like this. I firmly believe, had this young man come about years ago, um, there's no way that, like, and I'm not saying this would have been good for him, but that a record label wouldn't have snatched him up, because their A&R departments could have a ball with this guy, because he's got great chemistry on screen, or in the camera, or however you want to look at it. But his voice, wow. I don't like comparing, but if you don't click over and go listen to any of his stuff, if you are a fan of like a classic Motown sound, that's not what he's doing. But his voice is, he's almost as if Paul Williams of the original lineup of the Temptations and David Ruffin, the original lineup, like they merged and had this kid who had this voice. I mean, his voice is just so, I mean, for me and my perspective on R&B, it's like just perfect. When it came across my TikTok scroll, and it was the tunes Walk That Walk. I'm telling you, I would have thought it took me back to like 1990, and my very first radio job was at Touch 106, and it was an urban station, right? And it had that old school, like even Jimmy Ruffin type playlist, Vanessa Williams, and good stuff. And I would have thought I was listening to one of the tracks over there in the rotation. But I'm telling you, if you like R&B, Anthony Q is someone to check out. Also, if you don't like R&B, Anthony Q is someone who might change your mind, because I'm telling you, that young man absolutely positively just knocked my socks off. He really did. So let's see what else is going on over here. There's a good morning from Deborah on my little post there. And here we are. There we are. So, anyway, if you're watching live, I appreciate you. If you don't, I understand. It's Sunday. Most people sleep in. It's kind of like a smart thing to do. Not me, man. 8 o'clock every morning, we're going to do this. But I was kind of curious last night when it came to the lack of human beings out. It was Saturday night. And of course, we can all speculate as to why everybody was just hunkered down, staying home. But it had been a beautiful day. Maybe you're just tired and you wore yourself out because it was such a beautiful day during the day. I don't know. But very curious. But I've seen, so remember the days when, or remember way back when Fridays and Saturday nights, that's when you were pretty much guaranteed to be stuck in traffic somewhere. And you were most likely stuck in traffic with other people who were doing things that were equally fun and pointless. I miss those days of equally fun and pointless on Friday and Saturday nights. But I don't know. We were going to try to swing by Buckets last night and check out Southern Confession, but once again, my blood sugar kind of wrecked the evening. Sorry, guys, but I heard it was a great show, and I'm sure you'll put on another one soon. We'll follow along with that. So, what else we got here? Again, not a lot going on. I was like scanning, or had the robots scan and aggregate the news, and there's really just not much that happened in the past 24 hours. It's like, okay, there you go. Other than a report on KTLO, you can find that on Friday over there in Baxter County Court, they did the arraignment for a fella who's accused of writing thousands of dollars in bad checks to businesses in Arkansas and Missouri. Um, and again, there's nothing funny about that, really. sorta. But then again, sometimes there is funny things about all that stuff. Let's do this, and we'll come over. Because the thing is, now this guy, there he is, and of course it's all public record. That's how it works. Anyway, 80-year-old Robert Jarvis. That's him right here. That's Robert. Well, 80 years old. 80 years old. This is one of those things I kind of like to point out when it comes to someone, and I'm not dogging on him for what he did. He did what he did. He's going to pay the time and the fines and all that. We all make mistakes, so hopefully he'll get it worked out. But apparently he did like 22 grand worth of bad checks, passed around in Baxter and Boone counties, then up in Missouri as well. But it gets me to thinking, number one, just because you're old does not mean you deserve respect. The whole respect your elders thing. Normally, most people who say that, I find to be the ones who don't deserve much respect. And now that I'm crossing into that territory, now I'm only 51 for a little bit longer, but just because I got, the white in the beard and the lines on the face and all that stuff, that does not in any way qualify me unearned respect. So don't ever fool yourself there. I'm just saying. It's Alicia and I have had that debate for a very long time. I respect everyone in general, but not by default. Just saying. But anyway, this right here is like, and it's funny because the way it's written, and Philip Launis, I don't know you, Philip, but good job. But it's funny because in the way in which he wrote the article out, yeah, and that's what was funny. This old boy was on the lam for 5 months with a white warrant. But anyway, what was interesting to me is the way that, where'd he go? Find this exact spot here. Let me come back over here while I'm doing the scrolling thing. But where is it? It was funny. It's just the way it reads to me. You can read it again. You can go over to, if it's 72601life.com, there's a link out from there, or you can just go to ktlo.com. But the way it reads is like they were surprised that this guy would write a check for some type of thing, and then just 10 minutes later, he'd sell it for cash at a pawn shop. Like that was like a genius criminal activity move and strategy. I'm like, no, really? No, that's clever. Okay. I mean, it was whatever. It seemed like he was efficient more so than clever. He's like, oh, but the funny thing to me, or another funny thing was that he had rented a U-Haul, which finally had been stolen because it was with a bad check. But he was living in the U-Haul, and that's what he would do. He would go like buy a big mower, put it in the U-Haul, go straight to the pawn shop, sell it for cash. Voila, easy living is what this old boy was doing until it finally caught up with him. And he did have two accomplices, but again, you can go into all that if you want to look. It's it's like some of these names I kind of recognize from the Facebook land, but I'm not going down that rabbit hole because I don't know. Everything is allegedly until it is proven in a court of law, and I'm not. I don't care. Y'all figure it out on your own. But anyway, it goes. I found it just interesting, but there's really nothing else going on. So now, what was his name again? One more time. There you go again. Everybody makes mistakes. Give him a little bit of Jarvis, though. Jarvis, he's on his own, and good luck, buddy. But what else we got? That's really it. But it's funny thinking about that when I saw the names in the story, and then how they kind of slowly register. Terrible with names. Always have been. Always been. I'll remember your face, but I can be terrible with names, and I apologize, and I'll try to get better. But the thing that's interesting, for 10 years of like shooting the in-court arraignment episodes every Friday, it was funny because, like I say, with names, for the most part, I'm terrible till I get to know you. But faces, yeah. And whenever you're shooting something like that, where you're filming the whole thing, you start just registering. Sometimes you just kind of blur out because the same thing week after week. Then you got to edit it, and it's the same thing week after week. But then you see people out, and you're like, man, I know you. Do I? Or what's funny is when the people who were the part of the arraignments recognize me, and I don't recognize them. And they're not, a lot of the times, they're just not very happy with me. Well, because I had filmed them getting arraigned in court and put it on television. Thankfully, nobody really watched. I mean, well, that was the most watched program on TKO8 television for the entire run of my existence there, right? Not saying much, but that was the only thing that was watched. They weren't happy, but they were put on TV, and it was my fault. So, what are you gonna do? They were doing that when I got there. It was just part of the job. I was only following orders. But it's kind of funny. It makes for some awkward instances from time to time. What else is going on? Let's see. I don't know. Do you know? I haven't. I don't follow news aggregating sites anymore. Like I used to follow the Drudge Report, but it kind of like lost its mind in a lot of ways. Let me come over here. I'm going to just do a quick scan of headlines. Oh, you know what? I don't. It's so funny. I don't have that set up anymore, so I don't concern myself with it. You know what? There's really nothing going on. It's the same old dog and pony show that we've always been privy to. So I don't know. That's another thing I kind of like in doing this podcast is kind of pointing that out because now I guess I can only speak for myself, right? Right. That's all any of us can do. We cannot read minds, no matter what the best psychics say. Can't read minds. Um, but you know, it's so funny to me how how blatant the what's the word I'm looking for here? The they're the blatant talking points that are shared throughout. What is the media industrial complex? Everybody's talking about the exact same thing. And if that's all we've got for water cooler talk, that really is kind of a bummer. But it's true though. I mean, that's really all we've got going on there. But I don't know. So, but think about that. If everybody of all the $1 billion networks and the not exactly billion, but $1 million networks, all of them and the influencers online are all talking about the exact same stuff and going to act like nothing else is going on. Like one of the things that gets me, and it caught me the other day, is that inside of all of the talking point stuff is that most people don't realize that China has like a fully functioning space program, fully functioning. So while most of China talk is always about the economics of things and tariffs and that, but these folks have really been rocking it like a hurricane when it comes to their space program because I'd seen something about something with their astronauts. Wait, what? China has astronauts? And then when that first came about, like when China was starting to send probes to the moon and everything, China sends probes to the moon? Yeah, yes, they do. Um, but we're not privy to it. We're just caught up in what the spoon fed stuff, right? And that's just interesting to me because I didn't realize that. But China has a very advanced space program. Um, you can frame that either in a lot of different ways. You can frame it in that you're they're either out to get us from outer space, or they're just doing the same things our programs that say we're doing good things out there are doing for the betterment of all. It's all in how you frame it. I don't know. But it's the little things like that. And I kind of like pointing that stuff out because most folks, we just kind of just go along day to day and don't think about it. I don't know. Another thing day to day I'm going to start doing. Yesterday, Alicia had been telling me I need to do more TikTok because again, what is it? I have one product. It's my book, Toys or Totems, and the purpose of the book is it's not about me. It's about you, and I'm sincere in that because if you check out the reviews, the real honest to God live reviews from real human beings, they got it. This isn't just about toys, even though they're fun and they're colorful and I like them a lot. The underlying message is about getting deeper into you and what motivates you to keep the things around you that in turn, if you really look at it again, it can really energize you again. What I'm going to be doing on all the platforms that I'm on, because I've got Facebook and YouTube stream going on, as well as X, formerly Twitter, if you hadn't caught on to that. I've got a locals page set up, and there was one more, TikTok. So, and I'm going to do a live read on each one of those for every chapter as I go. Why? Well, I have a mission of doing the financial transactions for 11,000 books, but I'm working on my own marketing and promotions angle that you might want to take some notes on, because I'm going to give it away. I'm going to read the book to you and to other people. And if you like it, if one of the chapters rings, you might want to pick up a copy or give it as a gift. But the most important thing is I want the message out, because I believe the message will help. Another message that has definitely been great this past week was the virtual stump, to where I got locked in both of the candidates for Boone County Sheriff with Mark Forsey and Tim Robertson. Great guys, both of them. So it looks to be, they're truly going to have to earn your vote and on their own merits, and both of them can. So again, I'm not going to show bias either way on any of the races with any candidates, but it's nice to see people doing good things in their efforts to be an elected official. So we'll see how that all plays out, and it's all up to the voters. And that's why the virtual stump exists, because I want to get you and them connected, because local elections appear to be so boring when they're not. They're remarkably important, because unlike things that happen at the state level that nobody pays any attention to the federal level, where everybody acts like that's just it. In the United States of America, that's all that happens, is what happens in DC. Not exactly, no. I mean, they do kind of have top ranking authority on some things. However, locally, you want to keep more of an eye on what's happening here. The little things like annexing properties for different things that changes rules, because you might not know what's happening in your own neighborhood when it comes to that, where one person decided to annex their property into the city and you're still in the county, but I mean, it could be like a slow blob crawling across property lines. I don't know. It's little things like that that don't seem like they're important until they are important. And awareness is key. So that's my part that I'm going to try to do. I don't like that French roast, but you know what? It's coffee. So I like it enough. But yeah, the virtual stump, it's been great. Going to be talking to more folks this week, posting up the videos on my socials, and then, of course, the website, which you can find at 72601life.com. Here, let's go together, shall we? Hold on. Second screen. There you are. Well, let me... Got that thing so funky. Funky. Let's see. What is this thing doing? I don't have that much in there, do I? No, doesn't matter. Here, look. Let me just set this whole thing up. Da, da, da. Yeah, it's funny. It's like in doing all this rambling talk while I'm doing things over here. It's like, why do you do that, Jim? Because nobody wants dead air, man. Nobody wants dead air. But you also don't want too much just rambling for the sake of rambling. That'll work. Okay, let's transition over there. And so we got the virtual stumps. You go to 72601life.com. You click on virtual stump, takes you to the page. Bookmark it, because as you see, these are all of the candidates who filed in Boone County. I'm not opposed to like working out something for the surrounding counties, Newton and Carroll and Baxter and Marion. It just takes time, and I got to see some interest first before I can get into it. But yeah, so you see, then from there, you're going to see the listing for every single person who is on that ballot in video form, I hope. Like I say, Tim, Mark, they're there in the Boone County Sheriff's race, and I put them right there. So you don't have to scroll too far. Your thumb will not get that tired. But then we go down to what's going to be a very interesting guaranteed runoff race for the Boone County judges. We've got 5 candidates in the mix there, and then it's going to take you through all the rest. Elect your favorite, your bestest, most qualified coroner. That's another one of those things you just don't think about till it happens. And then, of course, where the contested JP races are in District 5 and District 9 in Boone County, as well as District 10. But then we go into the incumbents, and I strongly encourage all incumbents or those voting unopposed to take the time to talk to the camera, which in turn is talking to you. Why? Because again, an informed community is a connected community. I will never let go of that mantra, because that's the truth that will never go away. And so the virtual stump is the best I could think of so far to help out my community. So anyway, What time is it? It is 8:24. Again, it's Sunday, November the 16th. If you didn't know, Thanksgiving is running up on us pretty quick, isn't it? Almost there. We're getting there. Then, of course, Christmas, and it's flying, man. It's really flying. Or is it just me since I do this every day? So I'm like being more mindful of the calendar again? I don't know. I'm just fidgety this morning because, again, that's like the alarm said, "Hey, Jim, dude, get up." And that was like 2 hours ago. But my blood sugar said, "No, Jim, you need more rest. Sleep off the sugar hangover." And I'm like, uh, okay. So I did. And now, but here we are. Doesn't matter. It's been a great day, great week. Got a lot of things that I'm tooling around with, just sharing with you. Because coffee, this is what it's about. The podcast is about coffee, and we wake up and we talk. Because another thing that I think we all know, but we just don't even talk about anymore, that one of the big things out there, and another reason to do things like this, not just me, but everyone out there, loneliness is an epidemic of the world now. Ever since 2020, and even before it was starting, but since 2020, loneliness has been a bear because we've all gotten more ingrained at being home, plugging into our boxes. And again, economics keep you from doing nearly as much stuff as you'd love to do. And that just is what it is. Hopefully some things will start easing up where it matters most in the things that do matter to us when it comes to the price of things. When they talk about, oh, inflation is flat. No, it's not. It may be flat, but it's already high in certain sectors. But I mean, let's be real. What are we concerned with? We're worried about groceries and gas. That's everybody in the country. I don't care who you are and what. This is like a great example of how a flat tax works because this thing hit everybody. Everybody's going to pay the exact same ridiculously high prices. It's true. So, think about that. Don't give in to hype that's just kind of gaslighting you. It's bad. Really, really bad. But also don't get depressed about it because you made it. You're still here. And so long as we take the internet and these boxes and we do good at connecting with one another on some level, at least you know I'm not AI. Not AI generated. To the best of my knowledge, AI still can't do stuff like that. Because we need that. Because again, my whole mission in all of this stuff, and that rings through me, is to encourage you and encourage myself to remember to embrace your organic creativity because the machines can never, never, never replicate that. The best AIs in the world simply cannot do anything without human interaction. Period. Now, once you do it and it can log what you did, doesn't mean it can bring it back up because it doesn't. It really doesn't. It can't act autonomously. And even if they get to the AGI status, I just doubt it. I really do. There's not now. That doesn't mean that there won't be people displaced in their jobs because of certain things that the AI can do. That is, I mean, if you're in the data fields and that type of stuff, I think you're in trouble because if it can be automated, if what you do can be automated, they will automate you. And again, I can say that from experience. I've been automated out numerous times in my broadcasting career. So that's real. So what do you do instead though? You learn and you enhance and do the things that a machine will never be able to do like a human, which is a lot, pretty much everything. The skilled trades is what I would love to see get the boost that it deserves. We do need plumbers and welders and electricians, HVAC people, medical, um, hands-on staff, because like I know, I ain't gonna go down that right now. But the main thing is whatever you put your hands on, you are going to be valuable forever. You will always have worth and value, and remember that when it comes to negotiation times. But don't get caught up and ate up. Anyway, but again, the message is and the mission is very, very simple. Embrace your organic creativity and connection right here, right now, in the age of artificial intelligence and social media, because we're just getting too distant, man. We are. Well, we already have. And so loneliness, it's a thing. This is another thing I hope to do is like we can connect in this manner just so you're not so lonely, and I'm not so lonely because again, And this is not new terrain or a thought in my head, because I remember, again, back in the 90s when I'd do like late night, evening and late night radio where people would call in and just needed to talk. They didn't care about the latest Tim McGraw record. They just wanted to talk. And I would. And I got it then. They're just looking for somebody to talk to. Needed a friend. So hopefully this type of thing, I think that's why it works for so many of the influencer podcasters out there, is we're just looking to connect with a human being. And at this level and stage, I know most of the people who are watching me doing this thing here, we know each other one way or the other. Whether we've known each other for years online, or we know each other around town, or we work together on something, and this is a way to let you know that, hey, Jim's here, you're there. We're still there. We're still talking. Who knows? We may do more as time goes on. Don't know, but we'll find out. But we're still connected, even if we're having to use the tools of the tech to do it. But still there. All right, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. The book and Uncle Bundle is still available, where you get my book as well as the Uncle Sam. Where is he? Sam, there he is back there. You get your own Uncle Sam from Charlie Flat's Be Natural Toys, which is a highly detailed and really, really awesome vintage toy now. It's over 20 years old. $40 shipped anywhere in the U.S., other places. We can work it out. And then, of course, the book will be available from now until the end of time, as I continue my journey to 11,000 lives touched, changed, and thought about by getting the book. And again, I'll be doing a live read of chapter 2 at some point today. I'm not locking down a solid time on that, because I don't know yet. I may lock down a solid time for that, but it will also, this is also giving me the opportunity to do more rehearsals, to where I can really sit down, focus in on doing the official audiobook version. And because again, 11,000 lives touched through this book. I don't like saying just 11,000 sold, because it's a little bit more than just the product transaction aspect of things. I really want it to get into the hands with people who it resonates with, and who wants to give it as a gift to people they believe it could resonate with, because the message, I firmly believe, is worthy of giving a shout. Because again, it ain't about me, it's about you. It really is. So, but anyway, that'll be out there soon. Maybe this week I can really lock that in. Or I may wait until I read all the chapters live. I don't know. I'm making decisions because it's my book and I can. I need more coffee. I think I finally woke up. Sorry that you got the sleepy-eyed version of me this morning, but you know what? It makes us more authentic. And why in the hell did I keep talking like Butthead? I don't know. I don't know, Jim. I don't either. So with that said, let me look over here, make sure I'm not missing anything of any significance. And I don't see anything in particular. Hey, there's Deborah. I like that. That's a cute little GIF there. And Linda, give a little love over there. And that little 3D printed calendar that I printed, I love this thing because it helps me just go, oh yeah, it is Sunday, November the 16th. That's so handy. If you don't have a 3D printer, I'm not selling them, but I recommend you look into buying one. I can tell you. And again, over at the stream, I'm seeing comments. I don't want to miss those. Good morning, Heather. Big love there. And there's Thomas rubbing it in that he had already had his cup of coffee before I did. Jerk. But anyway, there you go. But hey, everybody, check out Anthony Q. I'm telling you that he is the premier R&B singer of the 21st century. And again, it's like R&B doesn't really do them exactly. I mean, if you got to categorize music, you got to find something. But he's more than R&B. There's like a soul there that is just R&B and soul, and that's always been grouped together. And he's just good, man. I'm telling you, it's like when I find those musicians that that if they grab me, I'm sure that there are plenty of you out there that would benefit from hearing that too. And again, there's no such thing as Top 40 Radio. If you want to see an artist survive and succeed, be it live or recorded, you got to do the groundwork for them, because we don't want them getting locked into some nonsensical, bad idea, soul selling record deal in the modern age, because it never was a great idea in the first place. But damn sure ain't now. Anyway, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. I am going to go do the same. I know I've got Simon the cat very angry because I didn't pick up the cat snacks last night. And I know actually, he's going to injure me if I don't rectify that soon. I'm going to go rectify that now. Have a great day, everybody. See you on tomorrow morning, Monday morning. And do something fun today and then tell people about it, because we all need that type of encouragement and connection. So until then, let me do this thing here so it all pauses and ends like it should. And don't forget to tell everybody to buy my book. And you should too. And have a great day, everybody.